Hi guys, how you doing? This is Rob. I want to do a quick video, two purpose. I want to show you something that I picked up, and at the same time, I want to show you some formulas I've talked about in an earlier video a couple years ago. But I know I have some new followers that I didn't have a couple years ago, and I added a couple other formulas that you might use for eBay and other platforms that you're using to resell. So I picked up here. Um, there's been a lot of deals at a lot of retail stores. Stores are closing. I'm sure a lot of people have seen places like TJ Maxx and stuff. A lot of stuff on clearance and Burlington or whatnot. And I picked up. I got lucky. I went to this one place. They have a they at times have some high end items. They have like Giorgio Armani, as you can see over here, and they had a big sale, so I ran over there, with my N95 mask, which, most of the people in the place had masks on, but, you're always nervous, but I had my N95 mask, and, because it was a long line, the store was very busy, it was packed, line out the door, because, we've been under lockdown for so long, and just about this week or so, retail stores, like larger retail stores, are able to open, okay? So, this jacket here, I picked up here. It was this here's the sale price was here $199.79, and they were doing a 50% off sale. So I got the jacket for $99 plus tax. Uh, what I wanted to show you on the fees. I mean, what was I saying on the formulas? I know a lot of people they talk about. Oh, by the way, this jacket here before I go off, this would be called like a smoking jacket. Okay, it's a formal jacket. It has the lapel like this. I don't know how to say it. Grossgran. I don't know. That's how they call it. I think it's like a French word with the lines in the lapel. It's like a tuxedo jacket. You see, it's got like the tuxedo buttons. Um. Anyway, I know a lot of people they say um how much money they want to double their money, especially items like this. They want to double, triple, or whatever it is, something like this. So, on the higher end items, that's what they're concerned because, with other thrift store items that cost a few dollars, you're not as concerned about how much you're taking as an offer. But once you start buying items for over $100, you have to be a little bit more aware of when you accept that offer, not just, you know, um, how much it is because you have to figure how much money you have into the item. Anyway, so this item it cost about $100, and I'm going to make the math easy. Now, the estimated fees, this fees number says 20%. I use on eBay. The fees are about 20%. They're actually when you look at your eBay statement, it will say your effective rate of fees. So what they'll do is they'll take all the fees that you have and they'll figure out because you have so many different fees, not just the final value, but the store fees and all the other, add-ons. And then of course that doesn't even take consideration from PayPal, but I'm just and then of promoted fees, but a roundabout figure, I'm going to use about 20%. I think that's somewhere where most people are at. They're at that 20% number. Now, to figure your break even point, okay? Because you always in any type of business, you always want to the first thing you always want to do, you want to try to you want to figure out how much it's going to be for you to break even. So this here is the fees, and your contribution margin is 80%. Now, what's your contribution margin? So, uh, so obviously, out of 100, it's 100%. If 20% is fees, 80% would be the contribution margin. Okay, that's what's left over from the fees. That's after that's what not figuring in item costs or whatever it is. That's just the percentage is your contribution margin. Whichever left over from whatever the fees are. Now, so here's what you would do is so if you want to figure out what your break even point is, you would do $100 was your cost, divide that by the contribution margin, the 80%, and that will get you $125. Meaning you have to sell this item for $125 just to break even. So now when you say, well, you know what, I want to double my money. I really want to double my money on these bigger purchases, okay? At least. This is at least what I want to do. So what you would have to do is, so now you put $200 in, okay? Divide that by the same contribution margin, and it gets you $250. And so on and so forth. So say, this item you're looking to make more, obviously. So in order to triple the money, you have to you do it this way. So you want $300. So how much do you have to sell it for to triple the money, to turn the 100 into 300? And that would make you that would that would give you 375. Okay. So I do have a formal education. I went to college for accounting and business and everything. So some of these figures like this I'm familiar with. So if anybody has any questions, you can ask me, no problem. If they have any concerns, if they want to know about clothing, or if they want to know about different calculations, how to get certain numbers, how to fit, because that's one. And any business you go into, like for example, like let's say if you want to open a brick or mortar store, any store basically that has a lot of um, fixed costs. Okay, so when you have fixed costs, you have insurance, you have rent for your store is the biggest cost. You may have salaried employees. That's always the big thing. So the cost. So then you would turn this cost number into your overhead number. Then you would back in. You have to try to figure out how much percentage you make on average from each sale, and then you would have to calculate how much sales you would have to do to break even, and then you could break it into how, and then I could figure out how many average customers you have, and then break it down by customer. So that's what happens. So if you see a store, okay, and you say, wow, every customer is gonna, let's say it's an ice cream store, okay, and you'd figure out using your contribution margin how much you're making off just the one item, just selling the one type of ice cream. You would have to figure out how many customers you would have to serve a day just to break even, and that gives you your idea if that business venture is worth it or if it's not. Alrighty, thank you very much, guys. Take care.